Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the 3 Topics Gamer, here to share with you another one of my top 5 list videos to share with you guys today. Now, at the time of this video's recording and uploading, we are less than a week away from the release of the next set of Pokemon games, simply titled Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And to get myself ready for those 2 Pokemon games, because I am getting both of them for my Switch, which, I happened to recently modify, well, not modified, not too long ago, and actually had a chance to go back and start playing Pokemon Platinum to get myself familiar with the region so I know what type of teams I want to build for either one of my games. I figured to go back and think, what is the first most important decision that you make when you play any real Pokemon game? It's your starter. Your starter is usually your companion for your entire playthrough, or at least most people that I know usually keep their starter throughout their entire playthrough. But which starters are the best? Which starters do you guys enjoy? So I figured, heck, I'd make just an entire list going over my personal top 5 favorite starter Pokemon that I've had whenever I played a Pokemon game. So, like always, if you do happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep track of me in all my future videos. So, starting off with number 5, we have to go with a classic Pokemon, probably one of the most iconic Pokemon of all time, and probably maybe the first iconic, and that has to go with Pikachu from Pokemon Yellow. Now, this might be a little unfair because for Pokemon Yellow, you don't have a choice but to go with Pikachu, so that's you're kind of stuck with. But overall, Pikachu, if you keep him in your team and level him up, is a pretty effective member of your squad and can be for your entire playthrough. I mean, there's a number of specific battles that I know Pikachu really helped me out of, just like it helped Ash out during his journeys, and because of that, I always felt that Pikachu was just a good overall Pokemon. I mean, yeah, sure, I might have some difficulties with Brock during the first gym batch, but I was able to find ways to kind of get around that. But overall, I just think that because of Pikachu's iconic status, its stats, and the fact that it's Ash's first Pokemon, and therefore it's still like primary favorite Pokemon throughout the entire series since all these years, I felt it was a good enough reason to at least get the number 5 spot on my list. Now going into number 4 is going to surprise some people because I am kind of a more old school type of player, and I have to go with Trico. Trico was probably my primary starter for that region. I liked his overall design. I like what he would evolve into when he eventually becomes a Cyndaquil, and I think Cyndaquil probably has one of the coolest mega evolutions you could ask for, and he definitely has just like this overall badass looking personality about himself, and the fact that he's green and I'm kind of fond of grass type Pokemon is like a big reason as for why I always every time I go play a game for that region, I always go with Trico. I've never really had too much experience with the other 2 starters, but anytime I play a game for that region, that's who I go with, and he has a pretty good moveset. And I think he's pretty cool. So that's why he's number 4 on my list. Going into number 3 is going to not surprise maybe people, but it might be pretty standard. But I got to go with Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is number 1 in the Pokédex, so that makes him number 1. And he's green. And the fact that most people I know don't pick Bulbasaur, they usually go with Squirtle or Charmander. But I don't know. Like I said with Trico, I tend to kind of fawn more towards grass types, and the fact that Bulbasaur easily can handle like the first two gyms by themselves is another reason. And he was always a pretty strong member of my team going into the Pokemon League. And the fact that Bulbasaur always had a pretty good run with Ash in the shows, and so he was always a pretty useful Pokemon all throughout. And even when I evolved it into an Ivysaur and a Venusaur, he was always part of my team, and which is always pretty useful. That's why I would put him as number 3 on my list. Now, as we go into number 2 and 1, we have to go to my all-time favorite region, which is the Johto region. And heck, you guys know how much I love my Johto region and, Johto region Pokemon. But if I had to go with my number 2 favorite Pokemon starter, starting with the Johto region, it has to go to Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is without question my favorite fire type starter Pokemon of all time. I would say during my Pokemon Gold playthrough, that was the starter I picked. For Crystal, it was Totodile, but for Gold, it was Cyndaquil. I think Cyndaquil probably has overall my favorite design of any fire Pokemon. The thing that really sticks out to me is the fire that always emits out of his back, and just utility wise, if we were ever like in a dark cave. And it was kind of cold, technically I could just call my Cyndaquil out and just have him take a nap, and heck, we can use his his back flames to keep us warm. So I always thought that was cool, and the fact that when it eventually evolved into a Typhlosion, its speed stats are incredible. And when it comes to any type of Pokemon battle, you really want speed to be on your side to get your attack out first. Because sometimes a Pokemon battle can really be decided by who can attack first. And I believe that out of the primary last evolution stages of the primary three starters, I think Typhlosion has the fastest, kind of gives it a little bit of an edge over the other two. Uh, yeah, that's really all I gotta say about Cyndaquil evolving and eventually becoming Typhlosion, which is why I would give him the number 2 spot on my list. Now, going into number 1 is going to shock a lot of people, but I'm sure some of you guys can probably guess what it is. But I, it, number 1 is very personal to me. And when I say it, probably some of you guys have figured out what it is, and when I say it, people are going to be like, what? That Pokemon sucks. But overall, my favorite Pokemon starter of all time has to go to Chikorita. Now, I know she's thinking, what, Chikorita? Chikorita sucks. Her stats suck. She can't do anything. She's weak against, like, the first 2 gyms. Why would you pick such a pathetic Pokemon? Here's why I like Chikorita more than anyone. I've seen plenty ranking videos that kind of do, like, tier lists and talk about, like, some of the worst Pokemon, and no one I have ever seen has anything good to say about Chikorita. But Chikorita just was always a Pokemon that I felt drawn to. I think the fact that in order to make Chikorita work on your team, when it eventually evolves into a Bayleaf and then to a Meganum, you have to be committed. And that is the word that really defines my love for Chikorita. Commitment. In order to make Chikorita work on your team throughout, especially going into the Pokemon League, you need to be committed. You need to put a lot more work into your playthrough than if you were to pick Totodile or Cyndaquil. If you pick Cyndaquil or Totodile, your playthroughs of Pokemon, either Silver or Gold or Crystal, can be pretty easy. But picking Chikorita is much more difficult. And therefore, when I actually beat those games, I felt more satisfied because I took the hardest road. Most of you out there who didn't pick Chikorita or think Chikorita sucks would pick Cyndaquil or Totodile because you know your playthroughs are going to be easy. But that's not how I want to play my overall favorite Pokemon game of all time. I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be a struggle. I want it to be difficult. I want it to be long. And so what I ended up doing was always making sure that my Chikorita, when she evolved into a Bayleaf or Magnum, she was over-leveled. And you can bet your ass that when I took her to the Pokemon League, when I took on the last Pokemon that Lance had to become Pokemon Champion, I made sure it was my Meganum that took that thing out. It had to be her that took that Pokemon out. And you know who I'm talking about. And it wasn't an easy battle, but it was all the more worth it. And I think that is why I feel more drawn to her. Because across the community, Chikorita just seems like that Pokemon that no one wants. And I'm more drawn to those type of Pokemon and people that people don't want because they think they're useless and they can't be used and people have nothing good to say. They're like outcasts. I think Chikorita is like an outcast Pokemon, and I myself have that kind of personality. Most people don't think I'm very popular, and therefore I feel like an outcast, and therefore me and Chikorita would be perfect for each other. And plus, she was so adorable in the show. Just an adorable Pokemon. But I think that is the reason why, out of any starter, that is why I would pick Chikorita over anyone. And heck, Chikorita, when she eventually evolves to a Bayleaf and a Meganum, is in my top 6 overall Pokemon team. I mean, I'm not even talking Johto. I'm talking about if I had to pick 6 Pokemon to be in my perfect team for life, you bet your ass Chikorita to Bayleaf to Meganum would be on that team. And that says something across all Pokemon. And that's something I can't say with any of the other starters. Which is why I don't care what any of you guys say. Even if you don't like Chikorita, you think her stats suck, you think she's useless, she's not useless to me. And I take that very personal. And I get very upset when I hear people talk so badly about Chikorita. But heck, that's why I love her so much. Which is why Chikorita is my overall and will remain my favorite Pokemon starter of all time. So that is my list of my top 5 favorite Pokemon starters. Now, if you guys could pick your 5 favorite Pokemon starters, what would they be? Share your list with me and evidence in the comment down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome. And I will catch you all next time.